Good morning. Well, we are in the habit of criticizing the third world countries for their lack of transparency and their corruption. And I do not want to condone their corruption, that is an ingrained habit of theirs. Unfortunately, when we look around, we find that corruption is an all-pervasive phenomenon in practically all the countries. The difference may be of degree, but not of kind. And I find that the difference is not even of degree. The recent happenings or the recent exposes of the corruption in the government, in the political circles, are simply shocking, especially here in our country, Canada. We haven't forgotten till now the sponsorship scandals of John Chrétien. And now comes the news from Christy Clark, British Columbia Premier, who apart from her salary has got about $277,000 over and above as fee from the party to top her salary. According to the figures provided by StatScan, her income this way is among the 0.67% of the citizens of Canada. Shocking, isn't it? For a leader to claim expenses apart from her salary, which she is doing otherwise, is a repetition basically of Mike Duffy, who was recently exonerated for the corruption, who had charged Senate for working for the party and also the party. Anyway, then we had the gas plant scandal where we lost $1 billion, but we didn't know how much money had passed hands. Then came the infamous fundraising dinner of the Premier, where the people paid thousands and thousands to participate in the dinner. And now comes a shocking revelation. Imagine a company making a political contribution and getting government grants. Greenfields is a company which makes ethanol. There are 6 ethanol plants in Ontario. Greenfields owns 3 of them, 50%. It has contributed $403,000 to the coffers of the Liberal Party. And do you know how much it has got in return in grants? $163 million. So you pay less than $500,000 and you get $163 million, not a bad deal. This party did not contribute anything to the Conservatives or to the NDP. They knew where their interest lies and they contributed only to the Liberal Party. Well, I have no complaint with them. Let them contribute to the Liberal Party. But the point is they contributed $403,000 and they get in return $163 million in grants. It could not have been more shocking. Is this the way the country's money is to be used? Is this the way the money given by the taxpayers, extracted from the taxpayers, is to be used? There have been other instances as well. If I look at it, I'm shocked. I did some of the research and I find that there's Suncor, they have contributed $103,000 and they get 189 million. But they contributed $77,000 to the Conservatives and $15,000 to the NDP. Now the point is, why is it that the contributions match the grants but in a very disproportionate manner? You contribute 400,000 and you get 163. You contribute 100,000 and you get correspondingly less. So that means there is a connection between the payments made to the party and the returns from the taxpayer. Secondly, whenever the donations from the political party are there and these donations get funds back from the taxpayer, there can surely be something worse, and that is the money is being siphoned somewhere else as well. Secondly, now let's think it in a different manner, or let's advance the argument. Today, it is an environment-friendly company making the payment and getting the money. Good. Ethanol is being used to reduce the emissions, and as a result of this donation, earlier Dr. McGuinty had ordered that all gas should have minimum 5% ethanol. So one side you give them the grants, on the other side you make it obligatory that it be added to the gas, so they are earning both ways. Tell me, who would not like to do such a thing? Is this a business deal? It is not. It is essentially an underhand practice. Now, as I was saying, let's take the argument a bit forward. Suppose tomorrow the organized crime starts funding the political parties. Of course it does, directly or indirectly. It doesn't do as a crime, but it has front organizations which contribute to the political funding. Would they not expect some benefit? And if the organized crime directly or indirectly gets benefit from the government, may not be in the grants, but in the laxity of the punishment or in the condonation of their conduct, then what would be the state of society? Unfortunately, they say that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. But even when any party which is not absolutely in power does something, there is always a danger that while in power, you are corrupt or you are corrupted. And while you are going to be in power, you are corrupted in anticipation of your being in power. This is something really, really horrible. This is something which is has a very pernicious effect on the body politic of the country and destroys the very strength of any nation. Now let's come to the other aspect. And that is the act A. As we said, grants are given. Okay. There can be some justification, and you can be sure justification can be found for any action. There is no action in the world which cannot be justified. But justification should be such which is both possible and probable. There is a Aristotelian concept of probability and possibility combined would fail in such cases. Christy Clark's case is a classic example of taking money unashamedly, though the justification is that she is promoting the party, so the party should pay for her. But she is going there as premier, and she has become a premier being a party member and a party leader. Is a consequential action. There is a sequence. And as a result, if you are a leader, as a sequence of your being that, getting that money further from that is simple exploitation of the success based on the sequence or the consequence of your being a member. Here, a party gives you X amount of money and gets X squared many times, X raised to power N. Now, is that defensible? It's not. When Honorable Kathleen Wynne says that she is going to ban political donations from the parties, the funding by the corporations, she's not going to do it today. She says she'll do it next year. Why next year? For the simple reason, she has made a statement for the public consumption. And when next year comes, she would not be even aware of, she would not be remembering. Convenient forgetting. It's very convenient. I forgot. It slipped my mind. We had to do it. The note wasn't prepared by the bureaucrat. There are more urgent things to take care of. There can be 101 excuses which have no validity in the real sense of term. Now, friends, imagine yourself that you take pride in electing a government. You think you are electing a government which is absolutely clean, pristine purity envelops them. And you find that it looks very pretty and it's rotten to the core. Why? And do we find that this corruption which we deride very volubly in other countries, we say Nigeria, we say Pakistan, we say India, they are the hotbeds of corruption. Are we in Canada any better? This is $1 million question which I ask the politicians and I ask the people. Even I have been very critical of the corruption in South Asia since I belong originally to that part of the world, and I am aware how corrupt that is. But when I see these secrets being revealed, when I see the seamy side that exists in this part of the world, I'm benumbed and shocked. What a difference between the statement and the reality. How long shall we continue to be deluded that we are living in a land of honesty? How long shall we continue to believe that these countries are essentially